Ever scroll through your feed and, see those success stories? They always look so perfect.
Oh, yeah, the overnight triumphs, flawless launches.
Exactly. I woke up like this empires. And it's
Yeah.
impressive, sure, maybe even a bit inspiring.
Hmm.
But, well, if you're like me, you kind of wonder what really went on, behind the curtain.
Right. What about the sleepless nights, the big mistakes?
The moments of pure panic. That stuff never makes the highlight reel. So what actually makes an entrepreneurial story, like, genuinely compelling
Hmm.
and insightful? Okay, so let's unpack this thing we've got here. It's called an Entrepreneurial Journey Podcast Blueprint.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's basically like a plan for making a unique and engaging podcast, kind of in the style of how I built this.
Ah, okay. I know that style.
And its whole mission is to reveal the ups and downs behind successful businesses, really aiming for that entrepreneurial inspiration.
Got it.
So our job today for this deep dive is to really dig into this blueprint. We want to pull out the core bits that make a concept like this so powerful, so well inspiring.
What makes it tick,
Yes.
essentially.
What are the hidden codes in here about, authentic stories? What can this blueprint teach us about making an impact? As I was reading it, a few things really jumped out. Obviously, that phrase, unique and engaging podcast, that's key.
Foundational.
Then that core idea showing the ups and downs behind successful businesses, that feels really central.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal, of course, entrepreneurial inspiration. It lays it out pretty clearly.
What's really fascinating, though, is how this blueprint, maybe without even saying it outright, taps into some basic psychology.
How so?
Well, we aren't just drawn to the win. We're wired for the story of overcoming obstacles. Our brains like the struggle then triumph narrative.
Ah, right, the journey itself.
Exactly. So this blueprint, it's not just about making a podcast. It's kind of a mini masterclass in resonant storytelling.
Yeah.
Points straight at authenticity and also structure.
Structure, okay.
Yeah, and while those bits you mentioned are crucial, the ups and downs, the engage, there's another thing in the blueprint, often overlooked, that really holds it all together.
What's that?
It mentions clear voice, tone, and format.
Ah, right.
Without that foundational clarity, even the best stories, the most dramatic ups and downs, they can just get lost. It's like serving an amazing meal on a flimsy paper plate. The substance is there, but the whole experience, the inspiration, it's just not the same.
That's a really good point. It's not just what you say, but how you package it, how you deliver that experience.
Precisely.
So for you listening, this deep dive isn't just about identifying what makes a great entrepreneurial story. It's about understanding why certain elements work so well, sometimes in surprising ways. And these insights, well, you can potentially apply them whether you're building your own thing, telling your own story, or even just trying to get more out of the information you consume. It's about getting past the gloss.
Getting to the stuff that really motivates.
Okay, let's start with that call for a unique and engaging podcast. Seems obvious, right? Everyone wants that.
Of course.
But in today's world, with so much content, what does unique and engaging actually mean when you're talking about business stories? The blueprint mentions that how I built this style,
Yeah.
but, couldn't focusing too much on the ups and downs risk making the struggle seem, I don't know, glamorous, or maybe even put some people off. How does this blueprint make sure these stories are actually inspiring, not just, well, heavy?
That's a great question, actually.
Yeah.
Because it really gets to the heart of why this specific approach works. Uniqueness here isn't just about being different for difference's sake. It's about the depth of vulnerability.
Okay.
And the specifics.
Yeah.
Generic advice, totally forgettable.
Right.
But the gritty details of one particular challenge, the exact moment someone had to pivot, a surprising lesson learned from a very specific screw-up. Those details are unique, and an engaging format makes sure those messy, crucial details come across clearly, memorably. This blueprint gets that inspiration doesn't come from pretending struggle doesn't exist.
Now, quite the opposite.
Exactly. It comes from showing that struggle is part of the process and it's survivable. It kind of de-risks the whole idea of starting something for the listener by showing the mess isn't weird, it's normal.
So it's not just watching a story, it's almost like learning resilience through real examples, specific examples.
Yeah, precisely.
And that leads right into what I think is the real engine here. The ups and downs behind successful businesses. We've all seen the highlight reels, the curated feeds.
Endlessly.
So what makes showing the vulnerability, the downs, so compelling and maybe counterintuitively often more inspiring than just the big wins?
Well, this humanizing element, it's not just about feeling sorry for someone. It's actually strategic. It helps the listener manage their own risk perception.
How does that work?
If we only hear about the ups, the smooth sailing, it can make us feel like frauds if we struggle. It sets up this impossible ideal, makes success seem like luck, not work.
Yeah, I can see that.
But by showing the downs, the self-doubt, the times they almost went broke, the bad decisions, the story becomes relatable, deeply relatable.
Right.
It basically gives the listener permission to stumble. It reframes failure not as the end, but as like essential data, a necessary step. You know that classic startup meme, the straight line up versus the reality?
Oh, yeah, the scribble.
Exactly. The scribble that looks like a toddler drew it while riding a roller coaster. This blueprint understands that we're all living that scribble.
Right. So the feeling is, okay, they went through that crazy scribble and made it. Maybe I can too. That's exactly what the blueprint's aiming for, isn't it?
That's the core of the entrepreneurial inspiration part.
But it's not just about feeling less alone in the struggle, is it? It has to offer something practical, too. How does hearing about specific ups and downs turn into actual usable insights for someone in the thick of it?
It works through empathy, definitely, but also, and this is key, through actionable mental model.
Mental model.
Yeah. So when an entrepreneur talks about, say, a product launch that totally bombed or a funding round that collapsed or a partnership gone wrong,
The real stuff.
the real stuff,
Yeah.
and then they explain the specific things they did next, how they recovered, what they learned, the pivot they made that gives you two things. First, like we said, it normalizes the tough stuff.
Yeah.
Huge relief.
Yeah.
Second, it provides a kind of blueprint, not for guaranteed success, obviously, but for resilience. It's concrete examples of problem solving when things get hairy.
Okay, so it's more than just a story. It's a case study in bouncing back.
Exactly. And that kind of detailed, nuanced story is way more inspiring and more actionable than just hearing, wow, they made $1 billion. It equips you with mindset tools, not just an outcome to envy. It builds belief in your own ability to figure things out.
Absolutely. Okay, and that brings us back to something you flagged earlier, which is the clear voice, tone, and format. We've talked about the power of the content, the ups and downs, the vulnerability, but you could have the most amazing raw stories.
Yeah.
And if they're told in a really flat, boring way, or if the whole thing's just chaotic and hard to follow, that inspiration just fizzles out, doesn't it?
Completely, it gets lost.
So why is that clarity in both the tone and the format so vital for hitting that role of entrepreneurial inspiration?
Well, think of clear voice, tone, and format as the invisible architecture. It's what holds the whole story up and lets it have an impact.
Okay.
A clear, consistent voice tone builds trust. It creates personality. It makes the host and the story itself feel approachable, authentic. That's crucial if you want people to connect emotionally.
Right, you need that connection.
Yeah, imagine trying to absorb complicated business lessons. If the delivery is just like all over the place or super monotonous, it can be exhausting.
Oh.
And the format is just as critical. A well-structured format, maybe it has regular segments people recognize, clear signposts between parts of the story, a reliable narrative arc that gives you a predictable framework.
Makes it easier to digest.
Exactly. It lets the listener process the information efficiently. It highlights the key moments without overwhelming them. This careful structure makes sure the message, the ups and downs, and that final spark of inspiration aren't just heard, but are actually understood, felt, and maybe even stick around.
So it's the difference between just listing facts and actually crafting an experience.
Precisely.
Yeah.
A compelling story experience that resonates.
So it really is about building this reliable, easy to follow, deeply human experience. Crafting an emotional journey, an intellectual one too, for the listener, making sure those key insights really land.
It's like building a bridge, really.
A bridge between the entrepreneur's reality and the listener's own potential.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the Entrepreneurial Journey podcast blueprint, it feels like we've covered more than just, a plan for a podcast.
Definitely.
We've really dug into the structure of compelling stories and what genuine inspiration looks like. We started with the blueprint's call for something unique and engaging, revealing those ups and downs for entrepreneurial inspiration. And what we've seen is just how vital that transparency showing the ups and downs really is, not just for connection, but strategically for making the path feel less scary for the listener and delivering inspiration that actually feels usable.
Yeah, seeing the whole picture.
Right, the full human picture of success, not just the shiny end result, and realizing that the messy parts, that's often where the best lessons are hiding.
Exactly right. True inspiration, the kind that lasts, it doesn't just come from seeing the final win. It comes from relating to the struggle, understanding the hurdles, seeing the perseverance. That's what makes a story unique and engaging.
Yeah.
And if you zoom out, this blueprint isn't just about podcasts. It taps into something fundamental, doesn't it? Our basic human need for authentic stories and the incredible power those stories have to motivate us, teach us, maybe even heal us a bit. And then that clear voice and format.
Yeah.
That's the craft. That's the disciplined art of making sure that authenticity, those hard-won lessons, are actually accessible and hit home.
And for you, listening right now, really understanding these ideas, the huge value in showing vulnerability when you share your own journey, how critical clear communication is, the strategic power of telling a story well, with structure.
Yeah,
You can apply this stuff in so many places.
absolutely.
Whether you're, I don't know, pitching an idea, leading your team through something tough, or even just trying to learn more effectively from other people's experiences, these insights are gold. It's about seeing that the story of how something got built with all the twists and turns and messiness is often way more valuable than just knowing that it got built.
You know, it leaves you with a pretty important question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For you, the listener, in this world, absolutely saturated with highlight reels, where everything seems filtered and perfect. How much more powerful, how much more truly inspiring is the full story, the unvarnished one?
Yeah.
Think about the stories you take in, and maybe the ones you tell. Are they showing the whole landscape or just the mountain peak? Because often the real learning, the deepest inspiration, it's actually found down in the valleys. So what does that mean for how you share your own journey or how you look for inspiration yourself?
That is definitely powerful food for thought. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep into the world around you.